Welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, having a great conversation with Magnolia Perron. She is the Director of Strategy and Partnerships at the National Aboriginal Capital Corporations Association. Magnolia, just before the break, you actually anticipated my next question in that, I understand, obviously I know a little bit about our Indigenous communities, having been a former cabinet minister that worked well with them. But there is a diversity of Indigenous groups. It is not one big monoculture in our country. There's hundreds of cultures, actually. So how do you, I'm really interested to know how you craft programs that, given the diversity of Indigenous groups, how do you take that into consideration?
It's a great question, and it's really important for us at NACCA. We're based here in Ottawa. We don't want to be developing programs blindly without engaging and consulting the end users, ultimately the entrepreneurs. So we do that through two ways. As an example, using our youth initiative, we've put together a youth advisory council made up of 7 members who are young Indigenous entrepreneurs that are diverse in terms of where they're located, the types of businesses they operate, and whether or not they've worked with our Indigenous financial institutions or not. So that advisory council has played a major role in guiding and leading the development of NACA's youth initiatives. We recognize it's important that if we're developing a youth program, that we have youth voices at the table. Additionally, we also work very closely with our Indigenous financial institutions. As I mentioned earlier, they are representative of the communities they serve across the country. And so we've engaged them through, focus groups, surveys, working groups, so that they're advising us as we develop out these programs and financial products that ultimately will be for them to deliver. So those are some of the ways we try to ensure that we're creating products that are going to make sense.
Right. And again, what's your definition specific to the youth program, perhaps? But what would be a definition of success for you?
Well, we want to increase our lending as a network to the number of businesses owned by entrepreneurs under the age of 39. So, NACA, we defined youth between the ages of 18 and 39. But within that definition, we recognize, the younger age bracket, 18 to 24, is going to have particular challenges compared to those 25 to 39. So, even within our youth program, we're developing streams of programming to hopefully meet the needs of those two groups. But ultimately, as I mentioned, we want to increase our lending to young Indigenous entrepreneurs, but also see just an uptake in the number of youth that are exploring entrepreneurship as a potential career path and um, ultimately increasing their participation in entrepreneurship more broadly.
Uh, Speaking about youth and women now together, are you optimistic about the future? We've had a history in this country of false dawns when it comes to, the best way to get over the history that we share that is not a particularly positive one for Indigenous groups. But do you feel optimistic that these programs are making a difference?
I truly do. We're seeing both financial or economic and social impact of these programs. Of course, we're accessing their ability to access a loan to start and grow their business, but then the impacts that that has on their family is tremendous. From reducing food insecurity, reducing food housing instability, as well as increasing mental and overall well-being. So the impacts of these types of programs are quite large. And I think from a federal government investment perspective, it just makes good sense to invest in these types of programs. We're quite optimistic with, as I mentioned earlier, Budget 2024 allowing us to continue programs dedicated for women and youth. And we hope to see long term investment in these types of initiatives going forward.
Well, Magnolia Prawn, thanks for joining us today. Very interesting aspect of growing success in the Indigenous community. So best wishes from all of us.
Thank you.